Good morning, Christian and Angie. I am standing on what is a lot of dirt right now, but in just under 2 years, this will be a classroom.
Earlier this morning here in Edina, 7 businesses like the hardware store behind me along Highway 15 were forced to close. Now, Knox County officials were told that a levee was broken in the area earlier this morning that caused the water levels to rise in minutes, but there has been no confirmation on that just yet. The Jefferson City Police say the suspects ran away from Texas all the way to this house because of the people they knew there. Now, on Tuesday, the police department received information that the suspects from Chambers County, Texas, had fled right here to the Capitol to avoid Texan authorities. Chris and Brittany, we've all done it. We see an officer off in the distance, we check our speed, and we slow down. And that's if we're lucky to avoid the radar. But this weekend, it might be a bit harder to put the pedal to the metal. Today marks the first Friday of the month, and that means residents had a chance to satisfy their art cravings. Now, the event wrapped up about an hour ago, and residents are now enjoying live music here at Cafe Berlin for the after party. Now, if you can't make it to tonight's event, you still have a chance to come tomorrow. The party starts at 9 a.m. and ends with a firework display at night. Reporting live in Jefferson City, Vilma Obando, KMU8 News. Now, every lunch comes at least with a milk, a sandwich, and a fruit. And while this may seem like a simple lunch, depending on the weather, the program serves anywhere from 30 to more than 100 of these lunches every single weekday, making an important component for kids during the summer break. Good morning, ladies. I'm outside the Cole County Courthouse Annex, which houses the Cole County Clerk's office. As you can see right now, the doors are locked, but starting at 8 this morning, residents will be able to come in and cast their absentee ballots. At Experience Works, seniors have the opportunity to learn new skill sets that they may have not yet mastered, like working on a computer and being able to navigate in the internet from one site to the other. New skill sets like these may improve a senior's chance at getting a job in the workforce. On a clear, warm day in mid-Missouri, Jim Thomas Sr. is up and getting the dirt ready for a new batch of tomatoes. At SureLife Farms, with 128 acres, lack of work is never an issue.
This business, you just never catch up, and it just seems like you're always behind.
But word of Cuba possibly becoming a new trading partner is not taken lightly at this farm.
I'm all for economic development, and I'm all for helping all of us farmers to make more. But I think we also need to be aware of the fact of who we're dealing with, and that we ought to put principles above profit.
Right now, Missouri exports to Cuba are limited under a deal President George W. Bush made in 2000. But some associations are calling for a full end to the trade embargo. They want complete access to all of Cuba's markets.
You have a country that's 90 miles off the coast of the U.S., and we have a state that's located on the Missouri and Mississippi River. So strategically, Missouri farmers are very well positioned to trade with Cuba.
But that takes an act from Congress. In a statement, Senator Claire McCaskill said, quote, "We are always looking for opportunities, whether it's in Asia or whether it's 90 miles from our shores, to sell more beans or rice or corn or pork or poultry." But not all lawmakers are on board, including Senator Roy Blunt. According to a report by the University of Florida's Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences, in 2014, Cuba imported more than $2 billion worth of food product, most of which was in bulk coming from countries in Asia and South America. However, that report says that Cuba doesn't have enough room to store all those extra crops, which could mean an incentive for them to buy American goods, just like this one. But Thomas says the U.S. have other things to consider beforehand.
We've got enough hungry people in this country that we could deal with instead of trying to farm ourselves out to places that we know the first chance they'll get will double cross us.
No date has been set for Congress to vote on trading with Cuba. Vilma Obando, KMU8 News, Marshall. They're out of the classroom and at the park. Thousands of school students off for the summer. For them, no school means no school lunch, but a program at Douglas Park offers food for thought.
The first summer I did this, I remember serving 185 kids in one day, and I thought, you've got to be kidding me.
Lunch in the Park is a program aimed to ensure children from low-income families continue to receive nutritious meals when school is not in session.
The kids can come to the park, they can get a lunch, they can sit down here. We do have activities every once in a while. The bookmobile comes every Monday.
Alma Tapp has been coming with her summer school kids for the past 15 years and says the program does more than feed her kids.
It kind of gives them a self of independence. They're able to just come in and say what they want, and that's what I like about it too, because it makes them their own individual people.
Now, every lunch comes at least with a milk, a sandwich, and a fruit. And while this may seem like a simple lunch, depending on the weather, the program serves anywhere from 30 to more than 100 of these lunches every single weekday, making an important component for kids during the summer break. A report from the Food Research and Action Center finds that more than 37,000 children in Missouri were served a summer meal last year. Just this past school year, more than 7,000 students in Columbia qualified for a free or reduced price lunch, making up almost 43% of the total student population. Starjack says every summer the program serves more than 7,000 meals, and every meal makes a difference.
We don't necessarily have to know their names. They're just sweet little kids, and they're kids, and we love feeding them.
Vilma Obando, KMU 8 News, Columbia. The hospital is inviting residents using social media posts like this one so that they could come and check out the new facilities. Reducing energy consumption has been a long topic of concern for many, but the cost of figuring out our energy efficiency can sometimes be extremely expensive. This week, MU Extension is seeking to change that by making energy audits like this one more affordable for mid-Missouri small businesses and farms. And an investigation is underway into a St. Louis patrol officer. Police say the goal is to determine whether the officer's actions during a homicide investigation of a 1-year-old jeopardized murder charges against the infant's mother. Right now, if you go to the meat section of your local grocery store, you'll be able to spot the country of origin label or cool sticker on each meat packet. But now lawmakers don't want you to know where your beef, pork, and chicken come from. Campgrounds like Cooper's Landing are notifying residents to move their RVs in case the river continues to rise. Starting in August, students will once again have to learn the rules for a new test. That's because this week, Governor Jay Nixon signed into law a bill that will cut $4.2 million. Opponents of Amendment 3 are celebrating this morning after the defeat of the controversial amendment. Amendment 3 failed, getting less than 0.25% of the votes. If passed, the amendment would have used student standardized test scores as a basis for decisions regarding teacher contracts, including hiring and firing. Opponents said the amendment would have taken too much control from school districts.